Hello everyone, welcome to this video on Snowflake Summit 2024 key announcements. In this video, we are going to discuss about what are all the key announcements which are made from Snowflake during the Snowflake Summit which happened on June 2024. Without further ado, let us see what are all the new announcements from the Snowflake. First of all, we are going to discuss about GA announcements. What is GA? GA is the general availability. Usually in Snowflake, any of the new announcement will go through this cycle. First, that announcement or that specific product, you will be in the private preview mode, which we call it as PRPR, which is the general representation. You will be seeing most of the things there. If you are seeing within bracket, if it is PRPR, then you need to know it is a private preview, and then it will go to the public preview. Genuinely it will go to the general availability, which means public people can access it, meaning anyone who is having the access to the Snowflake ecosystem can get that respective product feature, as simple as it is. Now these are all the set of GA announcements which are made by Snowflake. As we already discussed, these things are already announced from the Snowflake end. Now they are making all these features as the general available. First thing is the document AI. I hope you are all aware of the what is the document AI on Snowflake. Document AI is the one which processes the documents of various formats and extracts the information from both the text heavy paragraphs and the content in the graphical form, such as the logos or handwritten text or check marks as well. So simple, document AI will give you the facility to extract the information from the documents. And then dynamic tables is also going through GA. Dynamic table is very helpful if you are doing the data engineering tasks, starting from scheduling, and then if you want to define any of the end state for your specific data engineering pipeline, then the dynamic tables will be very helpful for you. That is also going on GA. Iceberg tables, again another interesting feature from Snowflake. Snowflake started supporting the Iceberg. Iceberg is one of the data lake file format which help you to maintain the ACID compliance, and also it is very helpful to maintain the schema evolution, hidden partitioning and table snapshots, etc. Now the Iceberg tables is going on GA. Trust center, again trust center in Snowflake is very helpful to evaluate and monitor your account security risk. So this will be providing with a lot of scanners which will scan your account for any of the vulnerability. That trust center is going in GA now. Horizon's universal search is also going in GA. We are going to discuss in more detail about Horizon, what it is all about. It is the governance ecosystem from Snowflake. There is a feature called universal search within the Horizon which will help you to quickly and easily identify the objects within your account. Similarly, it is very easy to identify and search the data products within the Snowflake marketplace as well. That is going in GA. Horizon's data quality and data metric functions, again another interesting feature on the data quality front from Snowflake, which is very helpful to identify any of the data quality issues within your data. That is also going on GA now. Snowpark container services, hopefully people are already aware. If you are practicing in Snowflake, Snowflake container services is the fully managed container offering which is designed to facilitate the deployment, management and scaling of the containerized applications within the Snowflake ecosystem. During the last year summit, they introduced this. In the Snowflake Summit 2023, they introduced the Snowpark container services. Now they are making it as a GA. Snowflake CLI, again another easy feature to know. It is the interactive way by which we can directly interact with the Snowflake using the command line interface. That is also going in the GA now. Snowflake Copilot is going in GA. Another good feature, Copilot, if you are already aware of GitHub Copilot, it is the AI pair programming, meaning you can get the programming output or you can get the answers for your program via the English English language as input. So that is the interface which is very very helpful for people to pair program with the help of the large language models. Snowflake's version of it is called as the Snowflake Copilot, which is the LLM powered assistant that simplifies the data analysis while maintaining the robust data governance and seamlessly integrates into your existing Snowflake workflows. Next, we are going to discuss about Polaris Catalog. Fantastic and very very interesting feature. As we already know, we discussed about the iceberg tables. There is a need for a centralized data catalog. In that sense, Snowflake came up with the new cataloging mechanism called as the Polaris Catalog. In Databricks, if you see, we are having something called as an Unity catalog. So these are all the various catalogs which can work on top of the data lake file formats such as Apache Iceberg or Apache Hudi or all these things. So this is very important feature from any of the data catalog management and data governance management point of view. On that sense, Snowflake introduced this, and another interesting thing is it is going to be in the open sourced way. Right now it is in the private preview mode. Maybe in another 60 days or 90 days or so, this specific Polaris Catalog will be open sourced from the Snowflake side. So Polaris Catalog provides the enterprises with the iceberg community with the new levels of choice, flexibility and control over your data with full enterprise security and Apache Iceberg interoperability with AWS, Confluent, Dremio, Google Cloud, Azure, whatever. You can see this in this diagram here. This is an interesting way to understand how the iceberg Polaris Catalog will work. Here you can see iceberg at the bottom. So iceberg is, as we already discussed, a data lake file format which is sitting at the bottom on top of any of the cloud. Say it is in AWS S3 or Azure Blob or GCP GCS buckets. Then on top of it, using the Polaris Catalog, we can apply the cataloging feature. From there you can access the data via Polaris Catalog using the REST API calls. Here you can see Flink, you can see Spark as well use the same REST API and utilize the data which is sitting in iceberg via Polaris Catalog. Even Snowflake is also having it, and also Dremio is another mechanism by which you can access the data. So they are bringing up this specific layer, this catalog layer, so that you can interoperate with the iceberg data in a seamless fashion. So these are all the benefits which they are trying to say. As we already discussed, instead of moving and copying the data to different engines and catalogs, you can interoperate many engines on a single copy of data in single place. You can host it on Snowflake Manager infrastructure or your infrastructure of your choice. That is the reason why I mentioned it is going on the open source version. It will be available in GitHub. You can directly download it and you can install it on the infrastructure of your choice. Cross-engine read and write interoperability, that is mentioned here. So you can use Spark, you can use PyIceberg, you can use Snowflake, anything you can use. You can run anywhere, no login. You can extend Snowflake Horizon's governance via Polaris Catalog integration. Again, another interesting thing, we are going to discuss about Horizon in detail. Using Horizon along with the Polaris Catalog, we can implement very good data governance on top of the Snowflake ecosystem. Another interesting announcements from Snowflake, one thing is the ingestion for document AI. So copy into, if people are working in Snowflake are completely aware of what copy into is all about, it is the very good mechanism which will help you to ingest the data into the Snowflake tables. There are a lot of ways by which we can do that. We can ingest the data into stages, or else we can directly take the data from any of the cloud-based storages and do it using copy into. Now this copy into supports the ingestion for document AI actually. So the use cases of unstructured data and new ingestion capabilities for document AI, which is generally available soon. The users can now use the document AI to create a model and use it in the automated batch ingest of unstructured documents like PDF or JPEG or HTML or more. So together with the document AI, Snowflake customers can utilize the analytics insights they can extract from the documents and directly operationalize them in their data pipelines. So simple copy into now supports the ingestion of data for document AI. And then the serverless task flex, which is in private preview right now. So this offers an cost based performance, meaning Snowflake is claiming it will reduce your cost up to 42%. So for faster workflows, choose event driven triggered task, which is in the public preview, with 10-second latency, or low latency task, which is in the private preview for reduced task scheduling intervals down to 15 seconds. Finally, the task backfill, which is in private preview, automates the historical data processing within the task graphs. So this is the use case driven methods which they are trying to say based on your use case, you can choose between the options which are currently available, which are the event driven triggered task, low latency task, and then there are task backfill as well. But the serverless task flex will save your cost to a greater extent, up to 42%. Next hop is Snowflake Horizon. We are discussing this to some extent in the previous places. Now we are going to discuss about this in a greater detail. Now you can see this diagram. It comes with 5 different pillars. This is mainly an data governance or end-to-end way by which you can govern or you can ensure the security, privacy, interoperability, and access capabilities within the data products which are hosted on Snowflake. So these 5 are the unique pillars of Snowflake Horizon. So Snowflake Horizon lets organizations discover and govern the data, apps, and models with a built-in set of compliance, security, privacy, interoperability, and access capabilities. So these are all the 5 different pillars. It is a unified solution that solves the problems across the enterprise, meeting the unique needs of different users who work with the organization's content. So as we discuss about these 5 pillars, what are all the offerings from Snowflake for each and every pillar, that is what is mentioned here. With respect to the access management, you can utilize the view object insights using an user interface that lets you to learn information about the tables and views without writing a SQL. See how interesting it is. Track the data by monitoring tags, which can be user defined tags implemented with the object tagging or classification tags. So by using these mechanisms, we can very well govern the access pillar within Snowflake. Privacy: define and assign the aggregation policies and projection policies that queries that can run against the shared data. So using the aggregation and projection policies, we can define how the access for the data is going to be governed, mainly on the shared data, right? Open up highly sensitive data to analysts while protecting the identity of the individuals using the differential privacy. This is all about the data masking feature. As we all know, we are dealing with the PII related information. Once those information cannot be shared with all the people, so data masking and other all the related features are required. Already Snowflake is having the row level security and column level security built in within its ecosystem. Now utilizing the differential privacy, we can do it in a more efficient way. Facilitate collaboration while preserving the privacy using the Snowflake data clean rooms. This is another interesting feature. Using the Snowflake data clean rooms, we can facilitate the collaboration while preserving the privacy. And when it comes to the security, we already discussed about the trust center. Using the trust center, we can determine the current security posture of the account using the policies, using the security vulnerability mechanisms within the trust center. We can use end-to-end encryption to prevent third parties from reading the data while a trust are also in the transit to and fro from the Snowflake. Very usual thing. Choose your preferred authentication method such as the OAuth or federated authentication. This is all about the authentication on how the user can authenticate against the Snowflake ecosystem and access the data. Use the granular authorization controls to control access to the objects. Define and apply the data access policies to provide provide a column level and row level protections. Again, the known thing. This is not the new thing, but it is coming under that security pillar. Moving on to the compliance pillar, you can do the audit. We are having the audit access history and object dependencies, everything within the Snowflake account, and we can monitor the data quality using the built-in and custom data metric functions, which lets you to troubleshoot and visualize. This is very important. We discussed about this in the previous slide as well. This is in the GA right now, so you can monitor the data quality aspects for the data within your Snowflake using this compliance, using the built-in custom data metric functions of the Snowflake. Also, you can view the data lineage in Snowsight to understand the table and column level lineage from source table to the target table. Again, data lineage is the known problem. We need to understand how the data flow from the source to target. In that sense, Snowflake introduces the data lineage for Snowsight as well. So interoperability is another pillar. There is nothing much to discuss about it. It is very helpful to interoperate, meaning say a producer and customer, say how a producer can provide the data and how a consumer can consume the data. That interoperability aspects are covered as the part of the interoperability pillar. So Horizon is the one which is going to provide us with end-to-end capabilities with respect to all these 5 specific pillars. Next hop is the cost management interface from Snowflake. So Snowflake introduces this interface which is very helpful for us to maintain and also to understand how my Snowflake cost is going up or down. Oh, very interesting feature. We need this feature for a longer extent. There are many other products which are hanging around on this specific area to understand how my Snowflake cost is going, to predict what is my Snowflake cost which is going to be. All these things are there. On that specific area, Snowflake introduces the cost management interface. The cost management interface in Snowsight has an account overview that provides a comprehensive look at the account level consumption, spend including the dollars and credit spend over a specific time period, average daily spend, top warehouses by cost, and most expensive queries, etc. So this is the single stop place where you can go and understand which one is queuing your system, which one is consuming more cost, which specific warehouse is consuming more cost, what are all the long running queries. All the details are available there, which is mentioned in the quite good boxes. Set budgets for group, track against the budgets, optimized with insights. All the details are available for you using the cost management interface. And then the Snowflake native app with the Snowpark container services. This is an interesting feature. Snowflake native app with Snowpark container services is the Snowflake native app that runs on the container workloads in Snowflake. So container apps can run on the containerized service supported by the Snowpark container services. So you can use the Snowpark container services and you can host your native app. As we already discussed, container services is all about Dockerization. So you are containerizing your applications and you will be implementing it on top of the Snowflake or Snowpark container services. Here you can see this. If you are a provider, you can package your application in the form of a container image and then you can share it to the consumer using the Snowflake marketplace. What the consumer can do, they can take the container image and then they can deploy that specific application in the same Snowpark container services in their Snowflake environment using that. So the sharing of data is also very easy. This native way, it is like the Snowflake native apps can be simply containerized and it will be shipped to the consumer environment using this Snowpark native container services. And the other topic is all about the DevOps simplification. There are a lot of new announcements on the DevOps simplification. First thing is the integration with GitHub. Snowflake integrates with GitHub, GitLab, Azure DevOps and Bitbucket. These are all the well-known, it is like version control systems. So you can push in the code to any of these things and then you can interoperate with Snowflake using any of these version control systems. So as it is mentioned, sync your code and manage SQL script, Snowpark function, functions, and more within the Snowflake. In the initial public preview, this is in the public preview right now, you can access, read and write files within your Git repo. For writing and collaborating on changes, you can continue using the tools that integrate with Git, such as the VS Code. Right now it is in this phase. Slowly they will integrate all the other functions over there. The another important thing is the database change management, which is the DCM. To create or alter, make it easy to declaratively manage changes across the Snowflake objects at scale directly from your GitHub repo or stage. So you can store your DDL scripts in the source control, such as the GitHub, and Snowflake will automatically apply the necessary changes, say it as a create or alter or execute, to maintain the consistency across the objects. I hope you're able to understand what it is mentioned here. Say I am having my source code which is mentioned in GitHub, say I am making a change over that GitHub repo, automatically the DCM will identify that specific changes and it will apply it against the Snowflake system. Again, an interesting feature to know. And another good thing is the Snowflake trial. This is all about the telemetry data. So whatever the metrics, traces, logs, notifications, alerts, everything can be managed and operated in a centralized place, which we call it as an Snowflake trial, which is very helpful for application observability, pipeline observability, and also for data observability. These are all the various observability problems which are currently there in the industry. For all these sorts of observability problems, Snowflake trial is a single stop solution, which is the rich set of curated observability capabilities that provides an enhanced visibility into the data quality, pipelines and applications, empowering developers to monitor and troubleshoot and optimize their workflows with ease. Next stop is Snowflake Notebooks. By name itself, it is pretty clear. Snowflake is introducing notebooks within the Snowflake ecosystem. So far, if you know, you can do your code and everything within the Snowsite interface, where you can write your SQL queries and everything. But when it comes to the machine learning, it is very important that Snowflake must have to support a notebook based environment, typically a Jupyter notebook kind of an environment. In that sense, Snowflake came up with the Snowflake notebooks. Now you can directly utilize the Snowflake notebooks and you can write your Python code which can train your machine learning model, or if you want to deploy your machine learning model, all your Python related things you can do within the Snowflake notebooks, which is currently in public preview mode. So as simple, it is a development interface in the Snowsite that offers you an interactive cell-based programming environment for Python and SQL. Interesting thing to know. So you can do all the machine learning in Python within this notebook. In Snowflake notebooks, you can perform exploratory data analysis, develop machine learning models, perform other data science and data engineering tasks all in one place. For that specific reason only, they are introducing these notebooks, a familiar notebook interface integrated with the Snowflake secure and scalable platform. Simple, right? So these are all the features which they are trying to offer. So it is faster and easier for AI, ML and data engineering workflows. It unlocks the efficiency and collaboration across the teams. Why? Because it is natively integrating with the Git integration, which we discussed in the previous one. So all the GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket and Azure DevOps can be integrated within this Snowflake notebooks. Integrated data analysis. So you can manage your entire data workflow within a single intuitive environment. You can build the data pipelines and manage the data. So all the data engineering workflows, including data profiling, ingestion and transformation and orchestration, can be done using the Snowflake notebooks. AI/ML made very easy. As we all know, most of the AI/ML development is happening in Python. Since there is a support for Python, you can do all your AI/ML development using the Snowflake notebooks. Container runtime for advanced ML. For advanced ML workflows, Snowflake notebook now offers a new runtime option, which is the container runtime, which is in the private preview mode. More flexible and more powerful. Container runtime provides a seamless access to the distributed processing, which includes the GPU options, ideal for resource intensive machine learning task. Simple. If you are trying to fine tune or if you are trying to train a large language model using the GPU options, then you can utilize the container runtime for the advanced ML within the Snowflake notebooks. Scheduling of notebooks is available. You can automate and schedule your notebooks, simplifying the large scale data pipeline development. External access is also available. You can integrate it with the accepted network endpoints, which enrich your workflows with the additional data and packages via pip install command in the the container runtime. And one more interesting feature is the Copilot integration. So Copilot is integrated within the Snowflake Notebook. Again, an AI powered SQL assistant. With the help of the simple English language, you will be able to generate the code within the Snowflake notebooks, which is in the selected regions right now. So far, and they will be introducing it into the other regions as well. So you can write the SQL queries based on your data. Exploring your data with the open-ended questions is also possible. So very good feature, mostly for the AML use cases and also for the data engineering use cases as well. Next part is Snowpark Pandas API. Yes, you are hearing it correctly. Snowpark Pandas API. So far, if you remember, Snowpark is mainly for Spark. Actually, if you want to submit your Spark programs against the Snowflake, you can utilize the Snowpark to submit it. Now Snowflake is introducing the Pandas API support as well, meaning what? You can submit your Pandas as well against the Snowpark API. See this diagram, which is very interesting. So the data frame APIs is already supported. As I mentioned, if you are having a Spark program using the data frames, you can file it against the Snowpark API, which will be submitted against the Snowflake system. With the help of the Pandas API, now it is in the public preview PUPR. So you can extend, if you are having the Pandas code, Python Pandas code with you, you can utilize the Snowpark API and you can submit the Pandas code as well into the Snowflake support system. So with just the change in the import statement, developers can use the same Pandas syntax that they know and love while benefiting the Snowpark's performance and the scale and governance. So Snowpark Pandas enable you to execute the same Pandas code, but with all the Pandas processing pushed down to run in the distributed fashion in the Snowflake. So compute is always provided by Snowflake. Your Pandas code will be pushed against the Snowflake, which will be executed in the Snowflake's MPP. Your data never leaves Snowflake, and your Panda workflows can process much more efficiently using the Snowflake's Elastic engine. This brings the power of Snowflake to Pandas developers everywhere. So this diagram is very important. Now you can see how it is getting executed. Say if you are having an typical Pandas function, and if you are filing it against the Snowflake using the Snowpark Pandas API, the query translator and object serializer will do that, and it is using the Snowflake connector for Python, and it is getting translated, and then it is getting processed within the Snowflake engine here. So this is the Snowflake engine, and Python secure sandbox is also there. Then it will be getting executed within the native built-in Anaconda packages. Say it is TensorFlow or Pandas or more scikit-learn and all these things. This is very good from the Python developers point of view. And then we are going to discuss about the Cortex AI. Cortex AI is the end-to-end AI ML system which is offered by the Snowflake to train and deploy your machine learning models. You can see this diagram here. So it provides all these three features. One is the Cortex Studio, other is the Cortex Chat, other is the models here. Here you can see at the bottom, you can fine tune your models, you can use the foundational models, you can use the task specific and embed models here. So to understand this to a better extent, I hope you are all aware, since we are discussing all these things, these are all the generative AI pieces here. Generative AI is a disruptive technology which will be helpful to generate anything, generate and code, generate and text, generate an image or whatever. For that to happen, there is something which is called as the large language model. Examples are simply say like Facebook's Meta's Llama model, say like DBRC from Databricks, say like the Titan model from Amazon, Azure OpenAI's GPT model. When it comes to the Snowflake is having the LLM model which is called as the Arctic. These are all the foundation models. So those foundation models can be fine-tuned for your specific use cases. Meaning, say I am having a industrial data, I am having my own data, but the large language model which is currently available is not that much intuitive to support my use cases. Then what you can do, you can take that foundation model and then use your data, and then you can fine-tune your large language models. Those sorts of of options is also provided to us in the form of the Cortex AI. And then there is a chat interface there. This is very simple. You can give your document, automatically Snowflake will scan through the document, it will create the vector embeddings, and then it will be stored in the vector store. Then it will provide you with a simple chat interface where you can ask all your questions. Automatically the answers for those questions will be answered from the chat interface. In fact, in the Snowflake Summit, they did a demo with an unknown person at the last part of the keynote summit. If you watch it, you come to know about it. They called out for an unknown person, and using that person, they scanned their document and it answered their questions in a very simplistic way. So please go through that keynote recording. In fact, this video is mainly to avoid that, not avoiding, to provide you with the extract of whatever which is announced there. It's a long recording. It's like close to around 2.5 hours of keynote is there. If you are having time, please do watch it. I will add that video link in the description of this video as well. Now coming to Cortex AI, what are all the things which are provided with Cortex AI? Cortex AI is a fully managed service designed to unlock the potential of the technology for everyone within an organization, regardless of their technical expertise. See how they are trying to explain this. It provides an access to industry leading large language models, which are the LLMs, enabling users to easily build, deploy AI powered applications. By using Cortex, enterprises can bring AI directly to the governed data to quickly extend access and governance policies to the models. The same story which I discussed with you earlier, right? What are all the options which are available within the Cortex? Main thing is the Cortex Analyst, which is in public preview soon, which enables the business users to interact with the structured data using the natural language, allowing them to find answers faster, self-serve insights, and save valuable time. Meaning what? Using the Cortex Analyst, you just ask your questions in the plain text English language. It will mine your data, it will extract the insights from your data, and it will give you the results. Cortex Search, again, which is going to be in public preview soon, quickly and securely find the information by asking questions within the given set of enterprise documents using the state-of-the-art Arctic embedded model. So this is the one which is used interoperability within this chat interface. So you can do the AI-based search within your document. So they will create the embeddings and they will store all the data in the vector store. And then if you ask the questions, it will utilize that Arctic model and it will generate the insights out of the data which is stored there. Cortex fine tuning, again, as we already discussed, it is very useful to train the foundational models with your own data for the use case specific task using the serverless fine tuning. So fine tuned models can be managed using the Snowflake model registry. Snowflake AI and ML Studio for LLM, which is in private preview. So this is the studio part, which is at the top of the Cortex AI, which enables users for all technical levels utilize the AI no code development, which is the no code low code kind of an environment where simply you can do the drag and drop, you can enrich your data, and you can train your models. And then the Snowflake Cortex Guard, which is generally available soon, use an LLM based safeguard to filter and flag the harmful content, ensuring the model safety and usability. This is another interesting diagram from Snowflake where the Snowflake Copilot is useful and where the Cortex Analyst is useful. Most of these times these two things sound synonymous to each other, but if you see, say for text to SQL, use Copilot. If you want to extract the text to answer, then you can use Cortex Analyst. Similarly, it goes on. Please go through this for the better understanding. Finally, I would like to end this in the same way as they ended the Snowflake Summit. The dark mode is available within Snowflake Snowsight. So if you are a Vivid developer, you know about the light mode and dark mode. So now you can enable the dark mode in your Snowflake Snowsight. So if you want to code, if you want to utilize the platform, the coding platform in the dark mode, you can very well turn that on. With this, we come to the end of this video. I hope this video has been informative for you. The main intent of this video is to provide you with the extract of whatever the new announcements which are made during the Snowflake Summit. Please spend some time and understand this. This is very, very helpful for you. If you are working in the Snowflake ecosystem, these are all the new announcements which are made in there. I strongly recommend you to go through the Snowflake blogs. I will add the Snowflake blogs description as well in this video. I will, as we already told, I will add the key keynote video as well in the description of this video. I hope this video has been informative for you. Please do like, please do write lot of comments so that I can enhance the contents to a better way. Thank you very much for watching this video.